Grand Rising. Well, yesterday a portal, what we call a portal, an alignment, something created in some structures beyond that make you realize something or makes a unification of the collective consciousness. But today's subject is Draconian imprints. They're referred to as implants. And when I first heard about implants, I figured it was a physical object put into your etheric body. I know they weren't like metal or anything in your body, but your physical body is represented beyond. So, okay. Imprints, implants, same thing. If somebody can imprint you, let's give an example. My dear friend the other day, a couple weeks ago, she was attacked by dogs. She was bitten. And there are a few dogs here, and she came to visit. Well, my dog knew her and, would never attack her because he knows that she's my friend. But the other dogs, she went for something in the kitchen and in the yard, and on the way back, she was cornered by these three dogs. She says, "This has never happened before." I said, "Yes, because you've been imprinted with fear from those dogs. And as long as you have that imprint, those dogs will attack you." Now you can take this on every single level of your life. And then I want you to know the Monarch program, which is taken from the monarch butterfly, which remembers for 3 generations where it came from and where it goes to feed and etc. etc. You can do your research on the monarch butterflies. But the Illuminati Monarch program is the imprint program. So it works for 7 generations. See, if your great great grandfather had a traumatic event, let's say put in a dungeon and eaten by spiders, forever and ever, those imprints, well, not forever, but for 7 generations, those imprints would come through as an arachophobia. That is why people have these phobias, is because the Illuminati Draconian Empire, which is the Illuminati, they inhabit the human bodies, not particularly a spirit, but the imprints of the spirit is keeping all of us in their program. They can only keep us in fear through implants of traumatic events. So their job is to imprint you with trauma. And this is why many of you were raped as a child and tortured. You may remember, you may not remember. Your mind will immediately go, "No, not me." But I've met many of you that remembered, and some of you that won't remember or don't remember and are playing it out. When they wake up with trauma because in their dream state, it's coming back to them. It's become very obvious to me, and I don't have, well, no, I don't go into the negatives with any of your third dimensional programs. I just putting it out here. So, how does this work? Works on many levels. Once one is imprinted, it starts to imprint the others around them. it starts to replicate this virus program. And this has dominated our reality. And I know this. Do I convince you? No. A thinking person will put it all together and go, aha. The rest of you who are already imprinted and in denial because maybe this is all related, but your program of not wanting to see is staying on the path of another imprint which says, I dare not disobey my master. I will stay on course no matter what. And then your master gives you feed like chickens, and then you get more feed for laying your eggs, and then one day you were grabbed and taken, and the rest of your siblings don't know. But your life is so short that nobody remembers. Chickens, sheep, goats, cows, it's all the same. It's you are as below, as so below, so above. Um, and so I'm going to go a little bit further into it because, like, the human interaction with the draconian mindset. Now, remember this: you are in duality. You have a left hemisphere, which is draconian, and you have a right hemisphere, which is Lemurian. I'll just use those two terms if you want. So the draconians came to the Lemurians some time ago. Let's forget about time. Um, you know, we know about this existence. We think we know about the Atlanteans, and before that, the Lemurians. Well, the Lemurians were us. The Atlanteans was a compromise because the Draconians blew up Lemuria. And whatever happened, whatever the story is, um, we probably didn't know it was them and coexisted in the Atlantean period. So their job was to intermarry and interbreed and intermingle and take over, which they slowly did until they got to a point where Atlantis was destroyed because it wasn't fully controlled. So the Noah Ark story and the survivors and the story of Ham seeing his father's nakedness was all of that was like, say what? You're gonna accept that we should just be slaves, Daddy? Come on. Waking up. Are we waking up now? Waking up is to know your story, not their story, your story. And so our story is we are imprinted by traumas, fears, and social behaviors and reliance on corn crops, wheat, etc., etc. Lemuria was just a massive garden of Eden, and our bodies were able to be the environment, not be succumb to the outside environment. So, yeah, the imprints of social behaviors. I said, don't talk while you're eating. Don't do this. Don't do that. Bam. Hey, get in your room. All of these things are imprints. Imprints. And we are so well trained to imprint our children and our children's children, and it continues. We continue the Draconian Empire by being the disciplined child. Disciplined to what? To the church Catholic program, to the forced schools that you have to work and put your children into these awful imprints. And then we're told that, well, they'll be stronger, and if they don't fit in, give them a pill, or they're labeled bad and rebellious. These are all imprints. So the sovereign integral progress process is this: on print, realize that you are You it's not enlightenment, it's deprogramming. It's somebody like myself who is saying, you know what? Love wins. So what? Neutrality? So what? Just accept? So you just let the Draconians rule your world and take your children and suck your blood and imprint another generation? Or you get up, stand up, and say, hey, wagwan. And so the rebellious child that says, what me I do this for? Me not do what you say, is whipped and whipped and whipped until they are controlled. I've seen it myself. I've heard it from you, the disciplined child. Yeah, song comes to me. Jacob Miller, disciplined child. Look it up, if you love. So those who refuse to listen, those who refuse to share in here and know this, I have to consider that, we're all playing our part. You're either a part of uh, procreating the imprints upon each other, or you are the sole rebel that goes against the prison wardens. And the sole rebels that go against the prison wardens don't join the Draconian churches that were created to imprint you. And if you don't know this by now, then you are them. Yes. Um, being told to have to accept your draconian programs and that is love to accept it is an imprint. It's tried to imprint me for years. Joining spiritual communities and where you create a bubble reality and think that you can control everything by behavior and when who can speak and, your round table talk and, oh, this is the way we do it. This is all draconian. If you look at the animals, not your dogs and cats, because they're imprinted with our imprints. We think that we domesticate them. Look at the animals. I don't see them fighting. Yes, I see wolves saying, I am the boss, and I see the lion saying, I am the boss, because they're pack mentality. But they're not imprinted. And you might say it's not harmony, but it is harmony because there's self. I've never seen any starving animals unless human beings have messed with them. So the laws of creation, the laws of nature is everything is in equilibrium. Law of the jungle is actually more harmonic than the law of common law, common common programs I call them, because if it's all about the imprints, being told, hey, you're not good enough. Hey, you didn't do what I expected you to do. Hey, you almost burnt my house down. All of these things are imprints. And yes, some of them are necessary to coexist in your current thought patterns because you are not awake and you need to continue doing these social controllers. But they're all draconian. They're all imprints. And oh yeah, there's something else I want to talk about. You can take like DMT or go through a shamanic program or deprogram some kind of neuron fixer like Bufu, like frog medicine, or I can't remember the name right now, but anyway, the African bark that you take. I'll remember the name later. But they rearrange the neurons, so it's like a deprogram to reset. But if you don't have the knowledge to bring back in to program that vacuum, then the same old programs keep coming back in. So the healing program is, oh, you're imprinted. Let me help you. And yes, it helps you for a short while. And if you have the sovereign, integral ability to know your stories and where you came from and how this is working, you will unprint their imprints, and you will be able to say, okay, these are my programs. This is the master reset for yourself. But most times, it's a Course in Miracle fairy tale, new age program of love and light, and there's no darkness. It's all an illusion. Listen, people, we're in a holographic universe. Yes. We are creating our reality. Yes. But the whole universe is a holographic universe. And there are many levels to the game. If you are listening to this and you are a living being with a consciousness on this planet, you agree to come into this hologram. And the hologram says you can get hurt, you can seriously be affected, you can even get trapped. But yet, what are you doing with this program? Are we saying, hey, I'm not going to accept the imprints anymore, and I'm going to flush out the dark creators of this reality, and I'm going to win this game? Or is it that I am going to do what everybody else is doing and create your kumbaya psychosis? Bubble realities work in a bubble, but show me one that has not had something come in and create a problem. And so, in this current situation here, as a system buster, I upset the Draconian programs of this is the way it's supposed to be. How dare you talk over me? How dare you don't agree? How dare you keep talking? How dare you keep provoking me, triggering me? You're not love and light because you're triggering me. Well, my higher self knows, without even opening my mouth, that everything around me is affected, and I am the light that shines out the dark. But the dark thinks it's right. That's the problem. And so I make no apologies except for, I'm sorry, I had to be the one to show you because I don't want to be the one that shows you. I've learned now to share in open heart and space my absolute, my truth, which is the truth, which is there's no other truth until I see something that says, hey, I didn't see that part, and now I do. And it is, I don't care what you do to think that I am wrong, because if you're thinking I'm wrong in this time and moment, you're actually imprinted with those other programs. Or you have your unique program that's working for you and your reality in everything that you do. If it's just working for you, you're creating a bubble reality. I'm not saying completely that bubble realities are wrong. You need them to heal. If you don't go to a bubble reality healing center where everything is in the sound vibration of healing and love and the other frequencies that are coming through the other beings which are imbuing you to reprogram or unprogram your trauma imprints, then you may not make it. So I'm not going against anything. I'm just saying realize what's happening. Realize how everything works. Just think of your video game. Stop thinking about people and personalities and who's good and who's bad and who hurt you and who you like, and just start thinking about software. And all of these cells that are moving up and down the board are interacting with the cells, catching whatever the other cells have. Some cells are bright and imprinting, Some cells are dark and actually traumatically like cancer cells. What's happening in the cancer cells? Once the cancer cells become dominant, they start taking over all the other cells. So we are literally, our bodies are an example of the whole reality. And a cancer must be dealt with, otherwise, it will completely take over. So the whole thing about um, waking up is ridding the body, the universe, the planet of cancer. What is the cancer? The Draconian imprints. What is the Draconian imprints? The Draconian imprints are your behaviors towards each other. And so a name for this could be the Wetico virus, which is a North American indigenous realization of how imprinted the Europeans were when they came over, as they had been worked on. And so I have released my broadcast to all of you, and I'm really tired of this game where some of you get it and I'm playing against most of you cancer cells. I'm just, I don't want to provoke you anymore. Neither do I want to tell you you're all right and everything is going to be okay, because it's not. You know, what's happening in our reality now is the weak cells are being traumatized because they're constantly being programmed to carry the virus. And if the weak cells outnumber the strong cells, then the weak cells win. And this is why one of the things that has to happen is the weak cells have to go. And is it inhumane? Well, if you want to win the game completely, making the body stay alive, then you can just see from your own cancer treatments. You use chemotherapy, radiate. That's the dark program. But just to make the body survive, they tell you it works. I don't want to get into that. Just use the analogy of weak cells versus strong cells, but the strong cells are just 1 in 1,000,000. The weak cells are going to win. And this is the process that is happening now. This is the bi-purification. So, you know, in the human mind of thinking, you know, like I hope that the weak cells can become strong. But it's pretty obvious to all of us now that, you know, the weak cells are just saying, hey, we're the strong cells and you're the weak cells. And we outnumber you. So if you don't conform, we're going to take you out. So if the strong cells, who is the I am process of being the sovereign integral, who knows their story from beginning to end. I'm not talking about, I'm fine, I was born yesterday and I came from a graduated ape. I'm talking about knowing your story of you being the infinite spirit in this human uniform. And align yourself to know this. And align yourself to know that you are a strong cell if you don't take any more imprints. You are not needing the other cells to feed you. You are self-sufficient. And so I bless every single strong cell out there to become so strong and stop taking the programs from the weak cells and the cancer cells, the draconians, of how to do it. Because, you know, most of these religious, all of these religious books, if you call it a religion, it's already bad. If you call it a spiritual movement, it's already tainted with a kumbaya psychosis, I call it, or a bubble reality program of there is no evil, just coexist and all that. You continue to be the weak program. And then start looking at the spiritual communities, how imprinting they are with everyone else saying, hey, you have a demon in you or whatever. This is just like bullshit, man. Just It's bullshit. I call it all out. I don't want any part of that program around me. I will use your meditative state to speak to your higher self. I will look you in the eye when I have a chance and send you traumatizing, which is going to unprint you, reprogram you, blueprint you. Yeah, I will do that. You're doing it right now. So, my imprints carry through my voice program, through my eye contacts, through being around in my hemisphere. And the knowing that we win is a program of we can't lose. We're not victims. We are badass, take no shit, give pure love. And that's what we are. You can refer to yourself as sons and see yourself as the light. Your imagination is powerful. This is what the dark didn't want us to know. Waking up is not trying to be somebody's savior. Waking up is knowing that you become the brightest light that shines out those cancer cells. I mean, let's face it. Expose yourself to the sun. This goes against the mainstream media. Expose yourself to the sunlight and you shine out the dark cancer cells. So you can see it any way you want, but the real thing is to do this. Start changing your thought patterns from everyone else's imprints of what they're telling you you are, and start realizing that they're all carrying the Draconian program of trying to reprogram you. And you start carrying this around and realize, carry a song in your head, whichever song it takes. Nobody gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna hold me down. Oh no, I've got to keep on moving. Whatever version you want, carry that song in your head. And every time they come and tell you, you're not good enough, you didn't do what I was supposed to do, you sing that song in your head and smile and watch the cancer cell die. Blessings be to all who sees, and may you spread this into your reality. Om Shiva.